Okay, so let's talk about The Ring and its 20th anniversary today. This is a movie that I definitely think is one of the movies that really pushed the horror genre forward at the time when it came out. So, we're going to talk about some of my thoughts and opinions on it and just get a feel for the movie as well. Just give it its flowers, if you will. And I will definitely be making a video today as well on Terrifier, so stay tuned for that and all of the media that it's been getting because it's a pretty good thing. And we'll also be talking about BHS 99, which releases tomorrow on Shudder, which I thought was a great entry into this anthology series. But before we get any further into The Ring, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, currently running a giveaway. All you have to do to enter is just be subscribed and comment below that you want to enter the giveaway, and that will get you an entry. If you want extra entries, check out our giveaway video for more information on that. But let's get into The Ring, which was directed by Gore Verbinski. Now, this is a film that is a remake of another film called Ringu, which was a Japanese horror film that basically follows the same plot. And this was sort of a movie that came to American audiences and sort of pushed this J-horror wave onto us when we got films like The Grudge, The Eye, Shudder, etc., and really gave, I feel, a new sort of media and look to horror that I think Western audiences weren't used to, that was very much so prominent in the Asian horror and all of that, especially Japanese horror. And I think that this film really did a good job at making that progression for Western audiences. And I think it's one of the best remakes out there from any movie, like, period, not just horror. I think what they really did well here is they kept the essence, but they really translated it well for Western audiences. And I think the whole thing with Gore Verbinski's look, he always has this sort of green and blues to his movie. And I think for a movie like The Ring, that really works out very well, and it really makes the film stand out even more. I think also it is filled with so much iconic scenery, specifically that opening scene, and also the scene when she comes out of the TV, I think is one of the best moments in horror, period. And I definitely do applaud her for that. Now, I'm not saying this is the most perfect horror movie of all time. There are some things with it. It can be sort of a slow burn at times. Maybe sometimes it gets a little too slow. But I think overall the scares and atmosphere in this really make it stand out for that, because I think it's not one of those movies that just wants to fill you with pop-ups and scares like that. It really wants to fill you with this atmosphere that is full of dread and sort of like brings you down with it until that very moment when Sadako first appears, and then you're just left with wondering, what would I even do in this situation? I think also at a time when social media wasn't as present or any of that, it really did drive home this fact that there could be a video cursed on a VHS tape. Now, of course, I think this is a harder thing to pull off today with the marketing campaign and all of that, because I think that nowadays that you're filled with so many things all around you and you have ease and access to so much that you don't really have this sort of like anticipation or build up for anything, because you can easily access things and look it up if it's real or not. Because I'm telling you, when I was younger and stuff, I was scared of there being a VHS tape that could actually do this. And I don't think that you could really make that happen anymore like that. Now, we've seen sequels and everything to The Ring, and I will say they definitely lack what the first one had, especially the newer ones today. So I think that this is definitely one of those movies that it is just a one it and done it for it. I don't recommend the sequels like that, especially the newest one that came out here in the United States. It is definitely not holding up to the first one, but I think the first one still holds up. I watched it about like a couple of months ago again, and it still held up for me. And I think this movie is one of those that's just special, and I think an important part of horror culture in general, because it really brought this sort of style and look to movies that hadn't been seen, especially here in the Western side of things, as I said. So overall, this is a movie that I think celebrating its 20th anniversary and all of that is important. I think what it did as well is crucial also, because it really opened up the eyes to people that there is other horror outside of the United States at the time. And I think it sort of made everything more like, hey, let's look out to the frontiers of what there is. And at the same time, it's a good and a bad thing, because then we saw a lot of different remakes and sort of taking from all of these other cultures as well, and it didn't translate as well. Because I think horror in general is a genre that comes from each person's like sort of like upbringing and also what they feel during society at certain times and periods and all of that, because Japanese horror is really tied to a lot of their own society, and looking deeper into the elements of it, it really is a lot different than maybe what somebody in the United States is dealing with when they write their own horror thing. So that's why sometimes it doesn't translate as well, in my opinion. But I think with The Ring, I think they did a pretty good job with it and really kept the whole core of the original, which is Ringu, which I think is best to do when you try to remake something. And I think that's a reason that a lot of the other remakes that came after it didn't really hit as much, because they really didn't sort of translate well, in my opinion. But I think different audiences in different part of the world are scared of different things, so I think that this movie really did a good job at sort of balancing all of that, but also keeping it for the Western audience as well. My thoughts and opinions on it. So overall, I think that the film definitely is an important part of the horror culture, an important part of horror history, and definitely should be one to be more revered. I definitely am hoping that they're going to do something for the 20th anniversary, like a re-release or something, because I don't currently own that on physical media, and I would definitely love to. But yeah, it's definitely a movie. I just wanted to give you my thoughts and opinions that I feel about the movie, as it's one of my favorite horror films, and it's its 20th anniversary, so here's more to seeing The Ring in the future, and hopefully they get it right again, but we'll see. Anyways, as always, but overall, like I said, The Ring is definitely one of those movies to check out during spooky season. We are on the 13 days of Halloween, so we will be having horror movies talk all this 13 days, even on the weekends as well, so stay tuned for that. We do have our podcast dropping on some of the horror news we got just recently, and like I said, we do have a review on BHS 99 as well, where we'll be talking about all of my thoughts and opinions on all of the shorts. Tomorrow we'll have more of a spoiler talk on it as it's released on Shudder, and we also have a Terrifier 2 video today, as well as our podcast, like I said. So anyways, as always, that's going to do it for me. Like I said, we are currently running a giveaway. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Make sure that you also are entering the giveaway by commenting below that you want to enter the giveaway, checking out our giveaway video to know how to get more entries into that giveaway. We're running it all the way up until October 29th. Then on October 31st, we're going to have a live where we're going to be discussing horror and everything, and we'll announce the winners then, so stay tuned for that. But as always, I'll see all of you next time. Like I said, The Ring, definitely check it out if you're wanting something new and fresh, especially because I think it still holds up. But as always, stay safe, stay positive. But if you're still listening, really appreciate you making it all the way to the end. As always, I want to go ahead and ask you to follow us on all our other social medias, our website as well, culturalelixir.com, where we post a lot of our articles that usually don't come on to the videos because there's a lot of news, a lot of things to cover. So sometimes they're just articles. So if you want to go check those out, definitely go to culturalelixir.com. Follow us on our Instagram at The Culture Elixir, TikTok, Culture Elixir, Twitter is Culture Elixir. And as always, that's going to do it for us. Stay safe, stay positive.